Hi everyone, my name is Edward Pan, and thanks for watching the video. And last topic, we had a brief introduction to senior housing, and for today's topic, we would like to talk about the risk of senior housing, how to mitigate it. We'll also give you a real life example, which is a senior housing facility we are in the process of buying right now. So to talk about the risk in investment in senior housing, many of you know that this is not just buying a real estate. It's a very management intensive. So the management risk is one of the main factor. And of course, it's really important that in the management selection, we need to make sure that we pick someone who is very experienced. Obviously, their track record is very important. We can look at how many senior housing facilities they are managing, what are their historical performance. I mean, are they running around 30% of margin, 35, 40% of margin? Also, it's very important that we look at the corporate guideline of these senior housing management company, or I should say their mission statement, and how quickly they can adapt, new government regulation and rules. For example, COVID-19, when COVID hits, the management company we work with immediately give raise to everybody. Also went out and purchased almost 3 months worth of supply to make sure that we have everything under control. Unlike a lot of government-sponsored facility where it takes a while, you get a lot, it go through a lot of approvals before you can make any decision. Of course, staff, you need to make sure that this management company have the ability to attract, train, and retain these talents. It's very crucial and important to have a good people working for the management company. Also, one of the most important is you need to make sure that the management's goal, company's goal, is in line with investors. How we mitigate is, when what's set a goal for the management company, and if they are able to achieve a certain threshold of the performance, we will share part of the profit with this management company. If they aren't able to perform, we will be able to force them to reduce their management fee. So you need to make sure that the management company's goal and your goal is in line. The more money they make, the more money you're going to make. The second risk is demand and demographic. So we definitely need to look at the number of growth of seniors in the immediate area, the median household income for the adult children, as well as the median household income for the seniors, as they're going to be paying for the rent. Now, the next risk is the rent collection. Obviously, a lot of people who own some commercial property, one of the biggest fear is that what if they cannot pay rent? So of course, before they are admitted to these facilities, we need to make sure that we check, their retirement accounts. How are they able to pay for it? Do they need to sell, one of their real estate, or are they getting any Social Security benefits? Now, what if this tenant cannot pay? For these seniors, before they admit to a senior housing facility, it's a really big decision. A lot of time, it's just not their decision. It's also the family, their trustees, someone who has to sign the paper. So they won't just put these seniors into a facility after a month or two, realizing that they will be able to afford it. So we usually know ahead of time where they might have issues paying those rents. So before that, we will be able to help them try to find other facilities that could, offer a cheaper rent. A lot of time they might be going to these long-term care that's paid by Medicaid or Medicare. So that's another option. I mean, you hardly hear, senior housing facility kick out a senior. That's just not how people do business here. One of the concern, legal. A lot of investors worried about, hey, what if we got into a lawsuit or something happened to the senior, someone passed away? That's going to be a huge liability. So first of all, we have to understand, going back to screening the tenant, these seniors, before they are admitted, they need to provide doctor's notes. We need to make sure that their health is on check. All of them has to pass the TB test. Also, we need to check the level of cares they need. For example, if we know someone who needs a lot of care and we just can't handle it, we will reject the application. So we don't just go out and grab anybody as long as we can make money. We need to make sure that we have the capability and be able to take care of them. Now, in the event if anything happened to the senior, so in the States, in many cases, I wouldn't say all, if there's any judgment, the penalty or judgment is typically depending on the life expectancy of a person. So if someone who is in their early 20s, 30 who passed away, usually the judgment is going to be a lump sum, a huge lump sum of money, because let's say if the average life expectancy is 90 years old, so you got 60, 70 years of the penalty that you have to pay. But in many cases, these seniors are in their late 80s, late 70s. So if something does happen, I guess the liability typically is not a lot. And also, we will definitely have an insurance coverage, not only on the management company's level, and also on the property level, and also on the investors level. Now, the next risk is competition. So before we invest in a senior housing facility, we need to see if there's any newer construction in area, how is the average occupancy, also the rents of the facility that we're buying versus our competitor, and what kind of amenity they're offering. Do they have like spa, jacuzzi? Do they have a gym, a pool? Sometimes they even have theater, and that sort of thing. So there's quite a bit of risk, but before investing it, you just have to make sure that you go over all these risks. And obviously, you want to make sure you work with someone who is professional, who understands the business, not just on the real estate side, and also on the management side. Now, the next topic, we're going to be talking about a real life example. This is a facility that we're in the process of buying. It's a 72 units senior housing facility, a total of 80 beds in Sacramento. You can see that the facility has 3 levels of care. So we have a assisted living, we have a memory care, and also independent. The goal we have is that once the tenant move into the independent, as they gets older, they need more help, they will move to our assisted living. And once they're getting even older, they have dementia or they have Alzheimer, they'll move to our memory care. So the ultimate goal is that once they move into the facility, we want them to be happy, stay there until the day they go to heaven. For this particular investment, we're getting around 11 to 12% cash on cash per year. That is after mortgage payment, after management fee and everything. The 5-year return, we are expecting around 17% per year, meaning that's going to be including once we exit, we sell on the 5th year. So one of the reasons we really like this asset is, as you can see, our facility is at this Red Star. Right next to it, there's about 120 age-restricted single-family homes. These are owned by seniors. So we're thinking that if anything, if they need help, they can move to our facility right away. So we have this inherited potential tenant right next to us. Also, we are very close to 2 main hospitals in the area within walking distance. So that's another reason we like it. Now, even during COVID-19, our facility is still operating around 92% occupancy. So it's a very, very stable, stabilized asset. It's giving us a very good cash flow. So let's look at the comparison on the rent. Our independent is getting around 1 bedroom, 3,500, where the market is getting around 4,600. Our 2 bedroom is getting 3,800, while the market is getting 5,400. So our are way below our comparables. Assisted living, we're about the same, 4,000 versus 4,800. That's the market. 1 bedroom, we're around the market where we're getting about 5,800. We're in line with the market. Now, on the memory care side, our rent is 47, while the market is getting around 55. Although some of these facilities are in a slightly better neighborhood, Elk Grove, but we believe that as long as our rents are very competitive, we keep the facility clean, we offer a very good amenity, in the event if anything happens to the economy, we will be able to undercut our competitor. So that's another reason we pick this asset. So the next topic, we're going to be talking about how do people invest in senior housing. And I'm sure you have a lot of questions, but feel free to send me an email or leave me a message, and I would love to answer all the questions you have. Until next time, I will see you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.